Hey guys, what's happening? I'm going to show you sort of like an easy introduction to bar chords. Something that everybody thinks is so challenging in the beginning, but really it's not too terrible if you approach it the right way. And it's just going to open up the entire guitar neck for you because you're going to be able to play any chord. You look up a chord chart and see a C sharp major chord and you just start to freak out, but then you just realize you're just going to move one shape around the neck and you could easily play that chord. So let me show you the four shapes I think everybody should learn first, right? It's this shape for major based off the 6th string, then get rid of your middle finger, and it's that shape for minor based off the 6th string, and then we have this shape based off the 5th string, and then this shape for minor based off the 5th string, because that was a major one. There's minor. So that's 4 shapes total. If you know anything about the cage method for guitar, if you've heard anyone talk about the cage method for guitar, that's chord shapes built off the 5 primary open shapes that we learn on guitar. That's C, A, G, E major, and D major. You have 5 major shapes, 5 minor shapes, and it goes on and on down the line, dominant 7th shapes, major 7th shapes, all that stuff. But I think in the beginning, before you get all into cage, which is a really great way to learn the guitar, I think you should just start with these 2 types of bar chords. Basically, they're based off, this is based off an E major shape, right? Okay, it's based off this shape, and then the E minor shape. But we're using our first finger to bar across some strings and add that shape. So we play, you take your last 3 fingers and play that chord shape. You may have learned it like this, right? So now you just use your last 3 fingers. We slide it up 1 fret and then we bar across. We have an F major bar chord. So you can say, you'll hear people in the caged way of thinking about guitar talk about that as being an E-shaped bar chord, right? But the name of the chord is based on where it is on the neck. Like this is an A, this is a G, and this is an F. They're all major because I'm using a major shape based off this. Now, if I turn it to a minor shape, that's an F minor, that's a G minor, that's an A minor. Again, all based off this E minor or E major shape, okay? The other 2 shapes are based off your A cage shape, right? That looks like this. So if you were to slide that up and play it again with your last 3 fingers and then use your first finger to bar, okay, that would be considered a B major bar chord, right? Because we're using a major shape based off the A, and this note right here on the A string at the 2nd fret is a B note, so that's a B. And you can move it anywhere up the neck. A lot of people will learn them like this first, maybe, and then ultimately switch to flattening their 3rd finger across those strings. That's definitely better and easier as you get more used to it, but if you need to start with the first, with 3 fingers instead of just 1, you could do that as well, all right? And that's movable. There it's a C, there it's a D major, there it's an E major. Now if we go back here and we think about, well, what's A minor look like, okay? So now we're just gonna slide that shape up and bar. Okay, so we took this major shape and we just made it minor. So our finger's still on the 2nd fret of the A string, so that's still a B note, so it's gonna be just B minor. We're using a minor shape. Okay, those are the 4 that I think you should learn first, right? So we have the E major shape, the E minor shape, the A major shape, and the A minor shape, right? If we do it right here at the 3rd fret, this is G major, G minor, then we have C major, and C minor, okay? That's great. Those are the big full bar chords that you want to learn first. But let me show you an easier way to start to get to be able to play them, okay? First, you could start with power chords and just play the low 3 strings. And that's actually not barring anything. And we're not playing the higher strings, just the low 3 strings, 6th, 5th, and 4th strings, the E, A, and D. You could also do that based off the A string. Get your fingers used to stretching across those 3 frets. Now, one thing take note of is like there's really no rule in guitar for where you put your thumb. You notice you never saw my thumb during any of that, because if you put your thumb up like this, it closes your hand. It'll make it really difficult for you to stretch across those frets. So I always recommend kind of putting your thumb somewhere right in the middle of the back of the neck of the guitar. That tends to open up your hand and make it easier to stretch across 3 frets. Okay, but if I was doing this full E major shape, it's my ring fingers on 5th string at 5th fret, my pinky is on 4th string at 5th fret, my middle finger is on 3rd string at 4th fret, and then my first finger is barring across all the rest of the strings, which is actually only 3 strings, because we're playing 3 strings right there. Okay. Remove the middle finger, you get the minor. We have major, based off the A string. I'm just flattening my ring finger against the D, G, and B strings, or the 4th, 3rd, and 2nd strings. Okay, and then this one, I have my first finger on the 3rd fret of the A, and I have my ring finger on D5, my pinky on G5, and my middle finger's on B4. There you go, and it's a minor. Okay, but let's start from this side of the neck now. So we could use power chords to get used to stretching our fingers, but we could also work from this side of the fretboard as well. So if we were to get this shape and just use this part of it, we got the first 2 strings at the 3rd fret, and then we got our middle finger on the G string right there at the 4th fret. I'm playing 3 strings, I'm not barring anything yet, and then maybe add my ring finger. Maybe some of you learned this as your F chord, your first F chord. It's a movable shape. All these bar chords are movable shapes. Okay, so I've got my first 2 fingers across the first 2 strings, then I've got the G string at the 4th fret and the D string at the 5th fret. There you go. Okay, the next way you could do it is move your ring finger up, get the A string, and your pinky get the D. Now we got 5 of the 6 strings. Look at that. Okay, and then finally build it into this shape. So you can practice it, right? Okay, this is a very useful shape. Okay, now what if we wanted to do the minor? Well, same thing. We'll start with the top 3 strings, okay? And then you might add your ring finger right here on the D string. Now we got 4 strings. Now if you move that up to the 5th string and you bring your pinky in, we've got 5 of 6 strings, and then ultimately first finger, okay? So another thing to think about is if you did major like this, if you just move your first finger up 1 string and lose your middle finger, you could switch from major to minor that way. Okay, let's do the same thing for the A shapes. So if we were gonna do, let's see, the first 3 strings, we'd get the first string at the 3rd fret, pinky would be at B5, and ring finger would be at G5. There's your triad shape of the bar chord. And then if I add my ring finger on, now we have a bit of a more of a full shape, and then all we have to do is try to move our index finger up to the 5th string, and we've got the whole shape. So we don't play the 6th string for the A shape. If you recall, like when we play in an open position, we start with the 5th string or the A string, and we strum down for all of them. So that's why we're just playing from the A string down. Okay, now to build the minor shape, it's even easier, I think. Right? It's just 3E, 4B, 5G. Right? And then if I move that up a string and add my pinky, you have a movable minor shape. Okay, and then if we go to the 5th string, sorry, the A string, we got the full shape. That's the full minor shape. So remember, you can do power chords from that side of the neck, or you can build into these bigger, bulkier shapes. Ideally, you want to be able to do the whole shape at some point, but this is a good starting place if you can just get 4 strings. Yeah, I hope that helps, and let me know in the comments what else you want me to put videos up about, all right? And if you've stayed this long, I appreciate you. Please give me a like and a subscribe. See you next time.